Hi, I'm Allie. Join me as I show you how to do these Lattice Bloom earrings that were inspired by Anna's Lattice Bloom bracelet. So if you've done the bracelet, the earrings are a fun way to make something that's matchy, but not too matchy. I did feature these also in a Facebook live event. So make sure if you're not a member of our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making, go ahead and do so, or go on into the Facebook page and you can check out the live videos from there. Gather up your materials that are listed below the video in the description and let's get started. All right, so these earrings are inspired by Anna's Lattice crystal bracelet here. This Lattice Bloom bracelet is based on right angle weave, and I just loved the look of it and thought it would be great as a pair of earrings as well, with some slight modifications. We're going to be doing a couple units of right angle weave here and embellishing with the RounDuo beads and sticking a briolette at the bottom. You don't need a briolette, but if you have one, that's great. We have 4 RounDuo beads that we'll need, 2 briolettes, some 11 O's, 15 O's, and the crystal olives. Each earring of the crystal olive beads will use 10, so you're going to need 20 altogether. To begin, we're going to pick up 1, 2, 3, and 4, right over there, of our 11 O seed bead, and we're going to let them drop down towards the bottom there, and we're going to go back through beads number 1, 2, and 3, coming out before bead number 4. That's going to create a little right angle unit there. And we're going to do another right angle unit using one of our oval beads, the olives, and another 11O, and then another olive bead. That's going to be the bottom of the next unit, along with an 11O for the right side, and then another olive, 11O, olive for the top. So what you're putting on your needle and thread is 4 of your olive beads separated out by 11O seed beads. Come into the 11O that your thread is currently coming out of, and that creates unit number 2. From here, our next thing that we're going to do is go through the olive, the 11O, the next olive bead, and we are going to, that fuzz is driving me crazy, we are going to go through the 11O that is on the right side of this little box. We're going to create 1 more seed bead right angle weave unit, adding 3 more seed beads and sewing up through the bead that our thread is currently coming out of. From there, we're going to sew through the bead at the top. And we're going to sew down through the bead on the right. We're going to repeat this unit here of our oval, olive, 11, olive, 11 for the right side, olive, 11, olive for the top. Come into the opposite side of the 11O our thread is currently coming out of to complete that unit. Get to the right side of this unit, meaning the 11O that sits on the far right. Having your thread exit that 11O, we're going to do 1 more right angle weave unit. 1, 2, 3 beads. Go into the 11O through the opposite side, just like we've been doing. Getting to the right side, we're going to go through the top 11 and down through the right 11. Now remember, with these videos, you can always go back and watch the start again. If you need it to go slower, you can change your YouTube setting as well, so that way it's a little bit slower also. And don't forget, while you're checking everything out, to comment below if there are different steps or anything that you struggle with. It helps us to create our next videos. From here, we're going to create another little unit. The unit here at the bottom is going to consist of an olive bead, followed by 1 and 2 11Os, followed by your briolette. Easier said than done, right? There we go. Followed by 2 more 11Os and another olive. We're going to go back through the bead our thread is currently coming out of, through that 11O. From here, we're going to embellish some of these units. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 units. We're going to embellish the 6th unit coming out of that 11O seed bead and add 1, 2, 3, and 4 15s. Go down to the bottom of your unit here and go through the 11 and the briolette and the 11 that sit at the bottom of the earring. So the 11 before and the 11 after. Coming out there, 1, 2, 3, and 4 15s, and back through that same 11-0 at the top. Fold those 15-0s in towards the center of that design, and those, we'll bring them both to the top of the piece because you will have a top and bottom because of the round duos. I'm just going underneath and kind of pulling the thread up there towards the top. You can see how they nicely highlight the briolette along the bottom. From here, we're going to go through the right angle weave unit. That's all seed beads, unit number 5. Going and tracing in that rounded way. And I want to come out through the seed bead that's at the top and bottom of the unit. We're going to add another right angle weave unit on top of that. I'm going to change it to the side here a little bit so you can see this side view. And what I'm going to do for this side view here is add another right angle weave unit. This right angle weave unit is going to consist, got to get a couple more of my 11s out here. It's going to consist of a 15, an 11, and a 15. You're going to sew back through the bead that your thread is currently coming out of, and that's going to pop those 3 beads into a right angle unit that sits off to the right. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So to get to the opposite side, go up through your next olive bead, through the 11-0 that sits at the top, through the first olive bead on the left, and out after going through the 11-0. I'm going to pull the camera in just a little bit closer so you can see the details as we fold these in. One more unit, 15, 11, 15, and you're going into the 11 your thread is currently coming out of from the opposite direction. So it's coming out the bottom there. I add my 3 beads, and I'm coming out the bottom of that bead. I'm going to sew up to the top of this right angle weave unit. So we're going through the 15 that sits at the bottom, and we're going to come out through the leftmost bead, which is going to be your 11. When you're coming out through that leftmost bead, this is where we're going to add our round duo. The round duo is going to get added in the same fashion as we go up to the top unit. You're going to pick up 1 11, 1 15, go through 1 hole of your round duo, 15, then an 11. You're going to go to the rightmost bead. So we're coming out of the top leftmost bead. You're going to go to the rightmost bead, go in from the top towards the bottom of the 11-0. That's going to pull those towards the middle. Coming out there, add 1 more 11-0, 1 more 15, and this time we're going through the second hole of the round duo. Coming out the round duo, second hole then, you're going to go through a 15 and an 11 and go through the 15 that was shared on the opposite side. To do a little more embellishment, go up through the first 11 and 15. And we're going to add some seed beads right here at the top. All right, adding some seed beads in the top here. We've got 4 of our 15s that we're adding. Going to the opposite side and sewing through the 15 and the 11. That sits right after the round duo there. I'm also going to go through the 11, that's the connector on the side. So you're going through all 3 11s. Then you're going to go through the 15 after the 11 at the bottom hole of the round duo. If you want to, you can do this with 11-0s as well to get a little bit more of that color. I liked how the 15-0s still showed off more of the round duo. 4 of the 15-0s go on and back to the opposite side. Through the 15 and the 11. Through the 15 that sits right after that 11. And then after that second 15 right there, as you're spinning it around, I want you to sew down into the right angle weave. So I'm going to go down through the silver 15, through the blue 11 that sits below it. Now we're going to weave our way up to the top unit, going through that opal bead there, going through the 11-0 and the opal on the opposite side, going through the 11 and the opal, going through the right angle weave that sits right above it, 11, always in a circle because you don't want to see any thread, through the 11 to the left here, through the 11 at the base here, through the olive bead, and out through the 11O seed bead. Once we're out through the 11O seed bead, we are on repeat. We are repeating to get a second unit of the RounDuo right along the top, adding in the 11 or the 15, 11, 15 right angle weave on both the right and the left, and then folding that in to set in our RounDuo. Again, if you need to, you can always go back and watch this video and repeat it to see that extra setting, but go ahead and do another RounDuo in there. Once you get those that second RounDuo established in there, it's really fun to see kind of the difference in the beads and kind of how they look versus the lattice, but tie in oh so well if you do it in the same color. Once you have that second RounDuo in there, I want you to come up to the first section of right angle weave, and you're going to get to the very top bead, or the bead that sits opposite here of the starter thread. You're going to grab a wire guard, or a wire guardian, or a wire protector, called all different things. You're going to go up through the side of the wire guard, down through the opposite side of the wire guard. It has two little tubes and then it has a U channel in the middle. You're going to make sure your thread stays in that U channel. You're going to go into your 11O seed bead from the opposite side that your thread was originally coming out of. So sewing in almost that right angle weave fashion, the same design. Reinforce, I'm going to go back up through the bead. Down through the wire guard on the opposite side, and certainly you can add another RounDuo at the top or a crystal at the top or some 15s before it, up to you. I'm going to go down through the 11O, going in the opposite direction that the thread was coming out. Your needles now are on opposite sides. I'm going to take my needle and thread that's currently in my hand, that right one, go through the 11O units here, get to the opposite side, come on up, and at this point your thread ends are at the same spot. Take those two thread ends, tie them together, right over left, left over right. You can separate your threads if you want to, taking your needled end and go through one of the other beads to separate them out. Burn down your thread edges, and then all you have to do is put on an ear wire, opening from the side with your pliers, putting on your wire guard, closing it up, and that finishes up your Lattice Bloom earrings. Thanks so much for watching and creating these Lattice Bloom earrings with me. Thanks to Anna for the inspiration on her Lattice Bloom bracelet as well. Can't wait to see all the different colors, design ideas, and comments that you make in our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making, as well as on this YouTube video. Hit that little subscribe button, and thanks so much, and stay tuned for more inspirational designs.